negotiating with my broker. So he called, and I said at the time, in fact, I don't remember that phone call at all. All I remember is I said, I'll call you back. And about a week later, I got another phone call. This one came from my mother at 3 o'clock in the morning, and my brother Josh had died. He was 22, and it was an accidental drug overdose. And I am not sure why Josh called that day, and I will never know why Josh called that day. But for me, it was a radical turning point for the way that I would choose to live my life. And there's a Lebanese American poet, and if you don't read his work, it's amazing, Khalil Gibran. And he once wrote this line that said, your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. And for me, that's what that moment was. It was the moment that I realized that I could choose to make my life about those people that I loved, or I could choose to make my life about getting ahead. Well, it broke me into what I can only surmise was a million tiny pieces. And my brother left behind a little girl named Zoe, whose name ironically is his wife. And I moved home to help care for, moved home to Florida. I'd always vowed I would leave Florida, and I did for a little while. And I came back home, and I started my life all over again. And one of the things that I did during that time was I started a new consulting business with my partner, Sanjay. And we were flying on a plane one day, and we were making all these lists of what we wanted to do and be with our lives. And one of the things that both of us had as a goal was to go to Africa. I'd always wanted to go, I just never listened to that voice inside me that was saying that that's where you're supposed to go. Because I didn't believe in those voices, I believed in all the other voices outside of me that were telling me what I was supposed to do. And so we saw this on both of our lists, and within 60 days we were on a plane. Because I realized how short life was. And we went from Cape Town to Cairo, saw the Great Pyramids, saw giraffes, saw all of these amazing things, but the most transformative, remarkable thing I witnessed was this school. And for my heart, which was broken in a million tiny pieces, I met Mama Lucy Cantoni, and she had built a school. By the time I met her, there were 100 children there. She used to sell chickens, and she had saved up her chicken money, and she started with 6 kids in 2003. There were hen houses in her backyard, and a little house she rented next door to her own home. And for me, it was all of the reminder I needed that even though I thought my life had been broken in a million tiny pieces, I knew she was the reminder that chickens were enough. You know, that whatever tiny pieces we have, that those are enough to be the seeds of radical transformation in the world. So I was incredibly grateful and honored to be in her presence. And when I came home from that trip, I meant to go back to management consulting. I never had this plan that I was going to leave my job. This was 5 years ago. I left my job. I've done this work ever since then. And I'll let you maybe take the story from why you started the school maybe, and then we can talk a little bit about what's become since then. So, but that's what she means to me.